Take it away. We should be live.
Good afternoon. This is Judge Aldrich speaking. Welcome to the Office of Tax Appeals January 26, 2021 afternoon calendar. This is the last case on calendar for the day. The time is approximately 2:30 p.m. In response to the COVID-19 state of emergency, the Office of Tax Appeals will be conducting today's hearing electronically with the agreement of the parties. Just as a aside, Mr. Polani, could you mute? We're getting a little bit of feedback. There should be a mute button at the bottom left of your screen. Got it? Thank you. All participants, including the administrative law judges, are participating via Webex. The video will be live streamed to the public, and a stenographer will transcribe everything that is said. The transcript is part of the public record and will be posted to our website. Our stenographer, Ms. Alonso, is using her equipment to take down everything that is said on the record. To help us make a clear record that can be easily understood when read, I ask the following. Begin any statement by stating your name. This is especially important because some participants may only have an audio connection. For the same reason, please do not use a chat feature in Webex. As I've already mentioned, these proceedings are being broadcast live. As such, any information shared on the screen is publicly viewable. If you are not actively speaking, please mute your microphone to preserve the audio quality. Speak slowly and clearly into the microphone. Please do not interrupt when someone else is speaking. It's common courtesy and it's easier for a stenographer to perform her work. And please do not engage in casual conversation. If a comment can be heard through the microphone, Ms. Alonso will report it. If our stenographer cannot hear, understand, or identify someone, she has permission to interrupt at any time. Before we open the record, Ms. Alonso, are you ready to proceed? I'm getting a thumbs up from Ms. Alonso. And fellow panel members, are you ready to proceed? Getting nods?
Yes.
All right. So this is Judge Aldrich. We are opening the record in the appeal of Polani Financials and Investment Corp. Before the Office of Tax Appeals, case number 19085140. This hearing is being convened electronically on January 26, 2021 at approximately 2:30 p.m. The hearing is noticed for Fresno, California. As a quick point of clarification, we are the Office of Tax Appeals. We're a separate agency from the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, the Franchise Tax Board, and the Board of Equalization. Today's hearing is being heard by a panel of 3 administrative law judges. I'm the lead administrative law judge for purposes of conducting the hearing. I'm joined by Judges Teresa Stanley and Andrea Long. While I am the lead for purposes of conducting the hearing, we 3 will deliberate and decide the issues presented. Each of us will have an equal vote in those deliberations. I believe Mr. Polani is representing appellant. Beginning with appellant's representative, please state and spell your name. So, Mr. Polani, if you could unmute.
Good evening, Your Honors, and all the panel here. My name is Mo Polani, and I'm representing myself.
And Mr. Polani, what title did you hold with Polani Financials and Investment Corp?
As a CEO.
Thank you. And could you just briefly spell your name for the stenographer?
Sure, M-O, last name Polani, P-O-L-A-N-I.
Thank you very much. We're going to switch over to the department. CDTFA representatives, please state and spell your name, beginning with Mr. Noble.
Hello, my name is Jarrett Noble, appearing for CDTFA. My name is spelled J-A-R-R-E-T-T-N-O-B-L-E.
Good afternoon. I'm Monica Silva. My name is spelled M-O-N-I-C-A, last name S-I-L-V-A.
And I'm Jason Parker, J-A-S-O-N-P-A-R-K-E-R.
Thank you. I believe that's everybody. This is Judge Aldrich again. To go over the issues to be decided are as follows. Whether any reduction to the amount of unreported taxable sales computed in the REIT audit is warranted, and whether appellant was negligent. Mr. Polani, is that your understanding of the issues?
Correct, sir.
And department, is that your understanding of the issues?
Yes, Judge Aldrich. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to address exhibits. So CDTFA submitted an exhibit index and identified exhibits A through E. The exhibit A is Appeals Bureau decision. B, notice of determination. C, billing and refund notice. D, audit work papers for the period of August 1st, 2013 through March 31st, 2016. And exhibit E, re-audit work papers. Appellate submitted approximately 17 exhibits. Exhibit 1, introduction and facts explanation letter by Mo Polani. 2, proof of business from 2012 to 2018 regarding Clover. 3, proof of business from Groupon, Uber, EasyCater, Beyond. 4, proof of overpaid taxes. 5, faxed a copy of complaint to Lana at EOE. 6, proof of 7 houses that were sold to run our business. 7, proof of Groupon vouchers with customer details. 8, proof of taxes paid from 2012 to 2018. 9, photographic proof of all the details submitted in the big box to the BOE. 10, photographic proof of spoilage. 11, photographic proof of vandalism. 12, photographic proof of theft at our restaurant. Exhibit 13, photographic proof of cups lying in the backyard of my wife's house. Mr. Polani's wife. Photographic proof of losses on all of the equipment. 15, BOE withdrawal from our escrow. 16, lawsuit proof of not paying vendors. 17, loans taken from friends to run the restaurant. So during the pre-hearing conference, the parties had no objections to those proposed exhibits, but I believe that the department hadn't reviewed the exhibits that appellant had submitted. So I gave on January 6, 2021, I issued minutes and orders indicating that the deadline for submitting additional documentation was January 11th. And Mr. Polani submitted additional exhibits, approximately 60 pages prior to the deadline. So Mr. Polani, are these documents new exhibits, or are they intended to fill the placeholders that were in the exhibit binder that we hyperlinked? Sorry, Mr. Polani, you're muted. If you could unmute.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not good at computer, but yeah, it's
no problem.
It's intended to fill up to show that the proof that I had paid all those things, you know.
Okay, so you're saying that the placeholders that we marked in the hyperlink, these 60 pages should correspond to one of those two placeholders.
Correct, sir.
Okay. Department, this question is to you. Do you have any objection to the admission of the proposed exhibits?
No, sir. No objection.
And Mr. Polani, just to confirm, do you have any objection to the admission of the department's proposed exhibits?
At this moment, no, sir, Your Honor.
Sorry, what do you mean by this moment? Are you?
I don't have any objection.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. So hearing no objections, the proposed exhibits for both the department and the appellant are now admitted into evidence. Just to give an idea of how this hearing is going to proceed, we plan for the hearing to proceed as follows. Mr. Polani is going to be giving an opening statement, which we estimated at 40 minutes, then approximately 10 minutes for questions. Next, the department will present a combined opening and closing for approximately 15 minutes, and appellant will have, or appellant's representative will have 5 to 10 minutes to close or rebut. And please note that the panel may ask questions of either party. Mr. Polani, during our pre-hearing conference, you indicated that you would be providing testimony under oath for your opening statement. So before we proceed with your testimony, we need to swear you in. Could you raise your right hand? Thank you. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, sir.
Thank you. So please proceed when you're ready.
Yeah, Your Honor, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak to all your honorable judges and all the panels. My name is Polani, Polani, and I started a small company after leaving my pharmaceuticals in 2012, and the name was like a Polani Financials and Investment. So actually, like we bought a Vietnamese restaurant those days, and it was running barely. But unfortunately, we had overpaid those restaurant, and we were already like moving into a losses. But having said that, we had an opportunity of buying one more restaurant so that there is a better income. So that's the other restaurant's name is Shalimar Sunnyvale, and that's how the whole thing started with it. My problem actually started is like I'm not a maths guy. I'm not great in maths. So every month, whatever I basically ring that thing, the whole receipt, I take it, go to the San Jose Board of Equalization. Somebody there would basically help me. So basically those days, I knew every staff there, you know. So it so happened that I used to basically pull the whole record and take it there. I have some proofs to show you, but on a later stage, I'll definitely show you guys. So like, and I used to, whatever the taxes they asked, I paid, come back happily. In somewhere in 2016 or 2015, early 16, there was one Mr. Paul was there, and he basically put Aroma's taxes into Shalimar and Shalimar's taxes into Aroma. So it basically raised a red flag in both my businesses. You know, my Aroma was doing on an average of around $9,000 to $10,000 a month, whereas Shalimar was doing somewhere from 50 to 70,000 on that train. So when we basically put both, so now Aroma is doing extremely well, whereas Shalimar is not doing very well. So it raised a red flag, and that's how the audit came into being. So when the audit came in our place, they were basically like literally coming in, sitting in our restaurant for hours together from morning to evening. And those days we were not doing Aroma so well. So instead of 9 o'clock, I used to basically close the restaurant by 6 o'clock. So what happened was this auditor who came down, she thought that, hey, because the auditor has come, we want to push her off and lock the door. And she basically basically sat in her car in front of a restaurant just to observe us. Maybe we may open after she leaving, you know. But to be very frank, sir, I've never lied in my life. I'm almost 60 years old. Raised two wonderful kids, both are in medicine. But the thing is, like the bottom line about it is like she never trusted me in the first place. And then she basically came out and the next day and she said like, hey, almost the next day, and she said, we are going to audit you, show me the receipts and everything. So whatever those days I had it, because I was also new to the business, I gave her everything, but I had provided her everything. Then she went behind me and she basically went down to vendors to find out where all I buy. And I literally gave her all the list from where I buy stuff. So in one of the places, she said that, Mo, you have bought like almost 10,000 cups. So each cup is you're selling for $5, so $50,000. So whatever Paul has made in your Aroma Coffee and Snack, the taxes are right. I said, no, this is basically a mismatch. And to be very frank, yes, I bought 10,000 cups. This is the invoice. That's why I gave you the address. And I said, like, I'll pay only my taxes on those which are sold and not on the inventory. I brought this so that I can get a cheaper price, you know. So it so happened that those days, my Aroma Coffee and Snack business generally run on students, like, you know, like there is a small school is known as Independent High School. Those students come down. So a lot of students during summer, they don't even have literally money to get water, you know, they cannot buy a bottle of water. So we generally put ice and give water in that cup. Same cups were used for what do you call Arizona tea. They 99 cents we used to charge them, and also like smoothies, like, it's $1.99. And the biggest thing we sold it was a Vietnamese drink is known as che. And that was like $3.99, but nothing we sold was for $5. So I said, like, it doesn't make sense. And to be very frank, all I have it, you can come and check my storage. I have plenty of it, and we have not used it. And then, like, like, I want to bring up to your attention is in one of the places, like, they basically said that, oh, you basically 1 minute, sir, I have to you basically are paying, yeah, you will charge you for $8,000. I have a proof to show that, because you have not paid for 8,000. And I said, no, I contested. I said, as far as I know, I go down to your office, I pay every time. And this was somewhere in the 1 minute, so I'll give the exact. This was somewhere in June 16, 30th happened. But in the December, in December 16, the amount from 8,500 became like 9,200, and then like in June 17, the amount became $4,000. So the amount keep on fluctuating, and somewhere in the month of September 01, it became 13,000. So this is her card. So 13,000, and somewhere in November 17th and 7th, it became 87,000. So it kept on inflating and going up. I said, hey, we don't do that type of business here, like, and you have just check it. So then she said, like, oh, Polani Financial also has other restaurant. I said, yes. So they came down to our Shalimar, and believe it or not, sir, like, in my restaurant, before I could take over, the previous owner were only selling cash, and they were pocketing all the money. But from the time I took over, I started using credit card. And a lot of people were really happy when they basically came to know I'm using credit card. And believe it or not, like, even though the inspectors, they were like 2 Hispanic inspectors, 2 Indian inspectors, and 2 Caucasian inspectors, they were coming on a regular basis to sit in one corner and observe. And every receipt I click in, and whenever I'm on the counter, generally I'm not, my managers were there. So I used to take and show them, hey, this is the receipt, this is the receipt. They said, you don't have to show everything. End of the day, we'll calculate. And they were also astonished. They said, hey, this restaurant was doing so much of business, what happened? And I said, maybe I'm a different owner, they don't like me. And especially in our halal community, like, I'm from India, whereas this restaurant is a Pakistani restaurant, which we took over. It's known as Shalimar Sunnyvale. And all the other Shalimars belong to one person, whereas this belongs to me. I just bought it. So they knew that, oh, the Hindus, they don't make halal food. Our restaurant started depleting. And moreover, there were a lot of mutawas, the basically priests, like, let's put it, the priests for the mosque. They basically started telling that, hey, this guy is a Hindu, he doesn't serve halal food, don't go there. So our restaurants were depleting. Now, having said that, when these people started investigating us in this, I had exposed them everything, every bit of it. So I'm the only owner, I can assure you, who gave the password and the username to the auditor. And I said, you can take this, you can check anything. I have not frauded or anything. This is all what happened. They said, oh, there is a difference. I said, yes. Those days, like, I used to sell tickets in our restaurant, and I already told this to the auditor. I said, hey, whenever we sell tickets, basically when people come down to buy food, they buy tickets too. Whenever they come to buy tickets, we used to do like Bollywood events, and that's also included. And these are the exact amount. And I was very transparent with them, absolutely nothing hidden. Every document I gave it to them, whatever document they asked. And in spite, like, giving them a password user, I said, here is the Clover, you can check it on. And then I also gave them a bank statements. I was very transparent. But still, I don't know for what reason these people couldn't believe in me. But having said that, as we proceeded ahead, we had a lot of calamities in a restaurant. Our business was not good. We had already signed the lease. We are not able to pay the lease. And even if you check my escrow document, which I sent it, the landlady, she has already withdrawn 142,000 because I was not able to pay for a few months, and plus penalties she took over, and Board of Equalization took over like 172. Believe it or not, sir, both the restaurants I sold, Aroma Coffee and Snacks, in this document I put it like 130, but actually I sold it for 110,000. In Aroma Coffee and Snacks, I got only 6,000 back, but in Shalimar, I have not got one penny. And because even the reason I'm selling this restaurant is because I have so much of liabilities, vendors' liabilities, employee salaries, like the rents, the taxes, the EDDA, and I have to pay them, because all this time when I was in pharmaceutical, we were exactly paying everything on a W-2, everything so systematically, no issues at all. But with business as such, I was like basically like stammering, then I had to literally put my towel down, and we sold this restaurant in August of 2018. And I presume that once I get that money, I can resettle all these people's, including the lawyers' fees and all. Before that, I had like three lawyers, to be very frank, when I was working to basically deal with this. And one of the lawyer basically spoke to Board of Equalization people, the second one also, the third also. But right now I'm fighting alone is I don't have money to even afford a reasonable good lawyer. Any lawyer you go is more than $300-400 per hour, and I cannot afford at this moment. And for almost like 2 years, sir, even though I'm disabled, believe it or not, sir, you can check my records. You guys have so much power. You can check everything about me. You can check, sir, even though I'm disabled, I have not claimed one penny from EDDA or employment, nothing at the sort. I was relying on my wife because I always feel that that money, somebody could use it, and believe it or not, I've never misused the system or abused the system. There are so many people who do that. In spite, sir, you won't believe, when I was selling this restaurant, there were so many cash offers for me. I can name those restaurant owners and their CPAs if you want. They came down and they said, Mao, you're a fool, you're selling through escrow. I said, no, I want to basically do the right thing. Sir, I was getting $350,000 cash, sir. They said, no, all you have to do is take this money, leave the restaurant, we'll take care of rest. And those CPAs said, hey, I can help you how to basically manipulate the numbers. Sir, my conscience, I'm a true man, and I'm a good Sam. Believe it or not, I said, no, even though I'm getting $25,000 less, I will go with 325 and let me do the escrow thing, Sir, if at all I had to cheat the system or cheat BOE or cheat the tax, sir, you won't believe, I could have done this long time before when I sold Aroma. Aroma also I sold through escrow. This also I through escrow, sir. Here, I have never cheated. Sometimes I feel, sir, these people have basically like done like an extortion on me, took away all my money. And because of this, you won't believe, my wife, she's an RN, and I had to literally beg and borrow money from her. I can show you so many proofs. I have so many proofs to show that. I had to literally plead, hey, I know this month we are slow. Next month we can do business. We can grow the business, and I'll basically compensate you. Sir, at many times, my wife has paid the rent, sir, because we're not doing good. And now I don't even get the money which I sold for, That's where it hurts my feelings, And that's why I said, no matter what happens, I'm going to tell the court truth and let the court decide, If they want to punish me, let them punish me. I don't care. But, but honesty is the best policy, sir. I've been taught in my whole life, and that's what exactly I teach my kids too, And when we came to this country in 1994, I always told my kids, you have to be an asset to the country and not a liability, sir. Believe it or not, sir, I have never cheated anyone in my life. I have never betrayed my taxes. I pay my fair share of taxes, and I do everything reasonable, sir. Even when we give free food in our restaurant, we have free tea and all. I told this auditor everything. Hey, we basically give free food also sometimes. We give free tea too, but still like we punch in. So the problem started when our business was depleting. We said, what is the other alternative? So we said, Groupon, let's go with a Groupon. Groupon at least brings business, because we didn't have that much money to basically do marketing, because our names were tarnished saying that we don't do halal food. So moving ahead, sir, we opened up a Groupon. So we were doing Groupon earlier, but in 2015, 16, 17, I did exclusively Groupon, sir. So what happens in Groupon? Suppose somebody buys a Groupon in their website and says that, okay, in Shalimar Sunnyvale, we get $60 worth of food for $24. And they basically pay $24 to Groupon, and they bring with a coupon and say that, hey, Mo, I have bought $60 worth of food. So what we do is, sir, it's a really, because I'm so honest, I think I'm stuck here. So whenever the client orders, we basically do everything in right. Say, for example, they have ordered like chicken tikka masala, rice, goat karai, all these things. And at the end, if the bill comes to $63 or $62, so we take only $2 from them. But we punch for $62. So that ticket, unless we punch it, we cannot remove the ticket. So we punch the ticket and give it to the kitchen to get it. But legally speaking, sir, I got only $2 on my counter and not $62. Correct? This is part one. So legally, I have to pay taxes on those $2 in my counter. But Groupon has taken that $24, correct? Now, out of that $24, like, I don't get everything. Groupon takes a bit of it, and I get $18. So basically, I get $18 from Groupon and $2 from the client. So legally speaking, sir, I have to pay, per my understanding, I may be wrong, but per my understanding, I have to pay on $20, the tax on $20. But we have already rang up for $62. So that's an inflation year. And I explained this very cleanly. I went down to their office. They called me 3 times. I went down to their office and explained everything. But still, they took away my money, sir. And believe it or not, sir, that's one. The tickets is one. I've been very transparent. I said, hey, you guys are so smart, If I buy $10 worth of grocery, I can sell maximum $25 or $30 worth of it, 1/3 of it. See my grocery things, see my meat things, see my everything. I've given you all the details. Why can't you cross-check from the behind end, like how you checked with the cups? But no, they did not listen, and there was an audit, and because we had to close this restaurant and come out of, I had to owe so many people, sir. I've attacked so many things, so many people I have to owe. Sir, I'm not able to basically pay them. And I do have so many cases, sir. One by one, I'm trying to solve this. Some amicably, some I basically took money from my wife. And because of that's what happened, sir, when money comes in your home, happiness is there, sir. If money does not come, so there's always that rift going on between the wife and the kids and me and everything. And basically, sometimes I curse myself why the hell I left my nice pharmaceutical job and went down to this. But then it becomes a division. So then you have a heated argument at home, the whole house atmosphere gets spoiled, and there is so much of cascading effect we have, sir. So this is where I'm standing here, sir. I have sent all the proof. I have enough proofs to show who I am, what I am, and including the Clover. I have given you bank statements. I've given everything, including the taxes, what I have filed, sir. I have not lied anywhere else, and I've sworn on the court. This is what I want to please, sir. If you have any questions, please, sir, I'm there to answer any questions.
Okay, does that conclude your opening statement then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to refer to my panel to see if they have any questions for you. Judge Stanley, do you have any questions for the appellant?
This is Judge Stanley. I do have a couple, but did you want to see if CDTFA has any before I ask mine, or?
Sure.
Do you want me to just go first?
I'll refer to the department first. Department, would you like to ask any questions of the appellant?
No, sir. We have no questions for the appellant. Thank you.
Okay. Back to you, Judge Stanley.
Okay, thank you. This is Judge Stanley. Mr. Polani, I've got a couple of things, and I'm trying to figure out how your evidence and testimony fits into what CDTFA did to reach the amount of unreported sales that taxable sales that they came to. So it looks to me like they used your own point of sale records to determine the latest amount. How does the destruction of cups and giving away free cups and other things like that, how does that relate to what is found in your POS records?
Yeah, the cups was for aroma coffee and snacks because the auditor, when she came, she said, "Mo, you owe 50,000 more," and that's where judge, I gave her an explanation saying that you can check the cups and check the things we have paid exactly, but the balance cups and all are there, in the storage. And right now it's on my wife's backyard, and I've also sent enough proofs of that, and there are more than almost like 3,000 cups still down there. So that's totally different. The second question is about Shalimar. Is like, I gave my password and my user ID to check them. I said, take this, and in fact, like not one, there were like 3 or 4 people who checked the POS in detail, and they said, "Mo, there is a discrepancy in between both the things." I said, yes. So this amount which is balanced, I paid what I for the Shalimar, for the food, I have already paid the taxes. But the other thing is for the tickets, because we used to do Bollywood, and I used to basically sell tickets in the restaurant, because most of the restaurants, Indian restaurants, they do that. And so that is the ticket sale. And for ticket sale and all, I have already sent that amount to that owner or the sponsor. I have all the reference. You can always cross-check, ma'am, and then you can take a decision. So
Okay.
that's my answer.
Thank you, Mr. Polani. It sounds like you're talking to the amounts that went into the first audit, but I have a couple of additional questions. That you did provide some Groupon printouts. Does that show the money that you actually received from the Groupon sales?
1 minute, ma'am.
And this is Judge Stanley again. I mean, after Groupon takes its own fees out of there, do those reports show
Correct.
what you've received?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's what I basically received from Groupon. That's a statement, correct.
Okay, and you testified that that your staff had to ring up all the sales so that the kitchen could get the order, whether it was a Groupon sale or not. And I'm wondering if there's anywhere in your point of sale records where you denote that. Is there any kind of key code or anything in your records that would show that there was a Groupon sale?
Yes, ma'am. I didn't have a key code because, as I said initially, I'm not that great mathematician or computer guy. I'm not a computer literate. But this is what I have, ma'am. These are all the documents. These are all the Groupon documents. These are all I have preserved, whatever I could get it, ma'am. And I had already sent all these things to Board of Equalization. It came back. I sent the whole big box to them, and they saw it, and they basically sent all this. These are all the Groupon coupons. You can, and they have I have their numbers, phone number, and email address too. And every one of this has their phone numbers, their emails, and everything. So this is one proof I have, ma'am. All this. Plus, I also did was, so these are all the, ma'am, these are all the people's name, their email address, everybody who took a Groupon from us, who used a Groupon on it. So every time we basically ring that, they have the name and they have the email. They have to write it, so that we kept it as a record, including their phone numbers and everything, ma'am. So this is one book. We also have a second book like this. We have the receipts already attached. These are all the receipts attached, every receipt.
Mr. Polani, I don't mean to cut you off, but we have some samples of those kinds of evidence in our record. But my question is how you think that CDTFA would be able to tie a certain point of sale record to a Groupon sale. Is there any way at all? You said you didn't key in a special code for that. So really there's no way to tie those invoices you're showing us back to the point of sale records, right?
Ma'am, but these are all from Groupons only. These are all the documents I have. These are all Groupon documents only. They have, this is from their website, ma'am. It's all, these are from their website, not my thing. So this is what proof I have, and I've kept it for a couple of years just to basically show it to the court, So these are all the documents I have. And like suppose if Groupon had paid me, say for example, $1,000. So basically I would have entered like $5,000 in the system. So that is basically I get like hardly like $20, like not $20. Basically I may get like somewhere around $80.
Okay, thank you,
80%,
Mr.
80%.
Polani. Thank you, Mr. Polani. Judge Aldrich, I have no further questions.
And if you want, ma'am, like I can send this all on your way once again. No worries, ma'am. I've got all these documents.
Judge Long, did you have any questions for Mr. Polani?
This is Judge Long. I have no questions at this time.
Thank you. This is Judge Aldrich. I think we're going to move over to the department's combined statement. And then Mr. Polani, you'll have an opportunity to rebut. But for now, the department, are you ready to proceed with your combined opening and closing statement?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead when ready.
In this appeal, there is no dispute that appellant operated a restaurant in Sunnyvale, California that was discontinued upon the sale of the business in October of 2018. During the audit period, appellant reported taxable sales of $1,470,190. Initially upon audit, appellant only provided credit card deposit information from 1099-K reports for July of 2013 through December of 2014. The department examined these records and calculated underreported taxable sales of $518,494. After the audit, appellant provided point-of-sale data from its operating system, which showed appellant's recorded taxable sales and the amount of payments appellant received from different credit cards, checks, and recorded cash payments for the third quarter of 2015 through the first quarter of 2017. Appellant had implemented this system midway through the third quarter of 2015, and because this information was not complete, the department used the remaining quarters to calculate an error rate of 51.9% by dividing the amounts appellant reported on its returns by the taxable sales it recorded in the point-of-sale records. This examination resulted in a deficiency measure of $784,419. However, after further examining the information and in preparation for this hearing, the department notes that appellant's reported taxable sales for the second quarter of 2016, the third quarter of 2016, and the first quarter of 2017 were materially lower than the sales appellant reported on its returns during the periods it issued. When factoring in these quarters, the corresponding error rate was not representative of appellant sales for the quarters it issued. Accordingly, the department conducted a re-audit using the point-of-sale data for the fourth quarter of 2015 and the first quarter of 2016 only, resulting in a reduced error rate of 40.09% and a deficiency measure of $605,909, which represented a reduction of $178,510. Under the sales and use tax law, sales tax is imposed on a retailer's retail sales of tangible personal property in this state, measured by the retailer's gross receipts unless the sale is exempt or excluded from taxation. All of a retailer's gross receipts are presumed subject to tax unless the retailer can prove otherwise. When a taxpayer challenges a determination, the department has the initial burden to explain the basis of the deficiency. Where that explanation is reasonable, the burden of proof shifts to the taxpayer to establish that the asserted deficiency is not valid. The taxpayer must establish by documentation or other evidence that the circumstances it asserts are more likely than not correct. In the present appeal, the department used appellant's point-of-sale data to calculate the deficiency measure. The point-of-sale data represents taxable sales appellant recorded in its system and shows actual payments that appellant received from various credit card companies, as well as payments by check and recorded cash sales. The department then calculated a percentage of error from this data and applied it to all quarters in the liability period. Because this data represents the actual amount of sales appellant recorded during the quarters provided, the information represents the best available evidence of appellant's taxable sales during the liability period, and thus the determination is reasonable. Accordingly, the burden shifts to appellant to establish that the measure determined upon audit is overstated. With respect to the evidence provided by appellant, the evidence of payments by Groupon does not establish that appellant entered the full retail value of the meal into its point-of-sale system, rather than the discounted value of the coupons as alleged by appellant, or that it subsequently did not collect the amounts recorded in its sales systems from its customers. Appellant has not provided daily cash receipts or other documentation establishing that this was the case. Therefore, appellant has failed to establish that the point of sale data is inaccurate based on this contention. With respect to appellant's assertions that it recorded charges for events that represent admission fees rather than taxable sales of food products in its point of sale system, we note that appellant has not provided any special location and particular events where charges for admission would not be subject to tax. Furthermore, appellant has not provided any documentation that it recorded sales using its point of sale system for events that were held off-site or by other people. With respect to the federal income tax information provided by appellant, the amounts reported on the returns do not establish that adjustments are warranted to the measure because there is no way to determine from the e-file information alone whether the amounts were accurately reported. Furthermore, as previously noted, the point of sale data shows sales appellant recorded as taxable and thus represents more accurate information. Accordingly, the partial federal income tax information provided by appellant does not establish that adjustments are warranted. With respect to appellant's assertion that employees incorrectly rang in food items, the cash register receipts he provided images of as part of his submissions were from a prior system in 2014, and those register receipts were not used to calculate the measure at issue. There is no documentation that the point of system allowed employees to manually enter amounts or that any amounts recorded in the system were due to key-in errors. Lastly, to the extent that appellant asserts that there was spoilage and/or theft of food, the point of sale data represents sales that were entered into the system. Spoilage and theft would not be entered into the system as taxable sales, and thus no adjustments are warranted based on these assertions. As for the negligence penalty, under the sales and use tax law, taxpayers are required to maintain and make available for examination all records necessary to determine the correct tax liability and all records necessary for proper completion of the sales and use tax returns. Negligence is generally defined as a failure to exercise the care that a reasonably prudent person would exercise under similar circumstances. The negligence penalty is applicable where a taxpayer is found to be negligent in keeping records or where a taxpayer is found to be negligent in preparing returns, or both. Generally, a negligence penalty should not be recommended when a taxpayer has not been previously audited, but there are circumstances where a penalty in a first audit is appropriate. For example, a negligence penalty should be upheld in a first audit if the understatement cannot be attributed to a bona fide and reasonable belief that the bookkeeping and reporting practices were compliant with the requirements of the sales and use tax law. Here, we note that appellant's records were inadequate for sales and use tax purposes. For example, upon audit, appellant only provided partial credit card sales reports, partial vendor purchase information, and a cash register Z-tape for one day, June 3rd, 2016. In addition, after the audit period, appellant was only able to provide partial point of sale data such as sales summaries rather than detailed daily cash register reports. The incomplete records appellant provided for the audit is evidence of negligence. Furthermore, the evidence in this appeal shows that appellant underreported its taxable sales by approximately 40%. Appellant's failure to report 40% of its taxable sales is itself compelling evidence of negligence. Lastly, while this was the restaurant's first audit, the corporation's president operated other businesses that had held seller's permits with the department that were previously audited. Accordingly, appellant, through its president, knew that it needed to accurately report its taxable sales and maintain sufficient records of those sales. Therefore, the significant understatement, the lack of records, and appellant's president's knowledge of the requirements of the sales and use tax law established that appellant was negligent and that the understatement of taxable sales cannot be attributed to a bona fide and reasonable belief that it was compliant with the sales and use tax law. Accordingly, the imposition of the negligence penalty is appropriate in this case. For all of the aforementioned reasons, the measure established upon audit is based upon appellant's own recorded taxable sales. This documentation represents the best available evidence, and the method used to calculate the deficiency was thus reasonable. Appellant has not provided any documentation establishing that the amounts it reported on its returns was accurate, or that the measure established by the audit is overstated, and therefore this appeal should be denied. Thank you.
Thank you, department. Judge Stanley, did you have any questions for the department?
This is Judge Stanley. I do not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. And Judge Long, have any questions for the department?
This is Judge Long. I have no questions.
Okay. I had just a clarification question for Mr. Polani. If you could go ahead and unmute yourself. Thank you. So when you were talking about the tickets, were you referring to the Shalimar or Roma location regarding the ticket sales?
So preferably Shalimar, sir, because by then we had already closed Aroma. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for the Bollywood events, are those on-site or off-site events?
So those are
at
like,
the location of the restaurant or not at the location of the
no, not at the location of the restaurant. They generally do it in SAP centers and Oracle and all those things.
Okay.
So but they sell. The sponsor comes and gives the tickets for maybe like 100,000, 50,000, and then we have to sell it and give it them back. So generally, like what happens, they advertise. That way, we will also get an advertisement, a free advertisement. So they'll say that the tickets are available in so-and-so restaurant, go down. So when they come to buy ticket, there are chances of they buying the food. So that was basically a mutual benefit, like, to help them in the Bollywood. And may I answer Mr. Noble's question, sir?
I don't know that Mr. Noble posed a question, but it'd be a great time to transition to your rebuttal. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to make a final statement, rebut what the department said, or answer any of the questions that the judges may have had. So I'll proceed when you're ready.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Noble said that we had made almost like $1.4 million sale, but sir, this is a true Clover statement of 2017 and 2018, sir, with all the attached.
Mr. Polani, sorry to interrupt you, but when you're showing stuff on the exhibits or documents or what have you on the screen, are those already in the exhibits, or is that something separate and apart?
No, sir, they are already there. Proof of business from Clover Corporation, that is on the exhibit.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify that that's something that we have to reference other than on the screen. Okay.
So here, Mr. Noble said that we did like $1.4 million. So I had this restaurant. I opened this, I took over this restaurant late August and closed it somewhere in the August of 2018. Actually, to be very frank, we signed the lease on March, April, and then we closed it by July, August. Having said that, sir, in all these years, if he could show me 1 year where we did 1.4, sir, I'll be a slave to all you guys. You ask me anything, I'll do it. But we had never had that sale. In 2018, sir, we had a sale of, this is a gross including tax, tips and all, is $288,000. I have all these receipts attached. Plus also, like, sir, in 2017, I had like $537,000 and $319, sir. We never in our life we had $1.1 million sale or anything above $1 million. We never had the sale, and I can assure you, they can reinvestigate this. But the thing is that I can basically tell that we never had anything $1 million sale, sir. If at all I had $1 million sale, sir, I would not have even closed down the restaurant. I would not have taken a loan. I have taken loan from my doctor friends. I'll give their name reference. You can cross check with the code. Can cross-check with them and ask, and basically we had to basically pledge our house, like this house, like where my wife stays, that house. So we had to literally take an equity at 11%, sir. Who would go with the right sense of mind, who would take a loan and then pay them? Because we are committed to them, because we respect our words, sir. When we give a word, we keep it up, And I acknowledge for some moment, like, yes, I didn't have those evidence, like, to state that I did not give everything to the auditors who came, but I gave them the keys to and the password to the Clover. They have everything. Clover is an encyclopedia of everything. And I'd given them every bit of the information. And as I received that, sir, after closing my restaurant also, I personally went down to Board of Equalization, dropped the big box. I think one of the pictures you have it, to Board of Equalization. I said, these are all the documents I have. Check whatever you want, take whatever you want. And anytime you need any help, call me, I'll be there to explain. So more than this, what can I do? I know, I understand, one person running 2 restaurants, it's impossible, sir. And those days, there were so many people coming down for payments, right from, you can cross-check my records, sir. I had like 3 labor laws saying that we did not pay them. It was hard for us to pay the employees. How can we have $1.1 million business and not pay my employees, sir? You can cross-check with any of my employees, sir. They'll always speak good about me, even though 1 or 2 people made lawsuits against me. But we gave them that money too in the court. We went down to Board of Equalization, the same office, same area. We paid them. So we have never betrayed anyone, sir, in our life. Never, ever. Because tomorrow when my kids walk in the street, they'll say, hey, this kid belongs to Mo Polani, and they can walk with their heads up, sir. We have never cheated anybody, frauded any, and we have been paying taxes sincerely. And as the gentleman said that we had an incomplete record, sir, 90% of the record, whatever we had it at. I don't have a great CPA. I can't afford it. So whatever I could do it, I did it, sir. The bottom line is, sir, if Noble could tell me, hey, Mo, you did business from 2012 to 2018, so many $1 million, give me a figure, sir. Then I'll give you my figure, what I calculated, and take the taxes, because Board of Equalization took away $172,000 of my hard-earned money. My kids' fees depend on it, sir. Believe it or not. My mortgage depend on it. We are back on the mortgage, sir. Believe it or not, we have not paid the taxes on that. On this one here, I have this documents to show. We have not paid taxes, sir. We were delinquent in paying taxes first time in our life because we didn't have money. Sir, if at all we had so much money, they say, sir, I would not have been sitting in front of you, sir. I would have hired a good lawyer, and I'll say, lawyer, you take care of it. Let me relax, sir. To prepare to find all these documents, sir, you won't even believe where are all things I search. I've been searching for days and months together, sir, because I don't know where I've kept it. And fortunately, I have all the documents at least, and courage enough to at least plead in front of you guys. Sorry, I'm not great in that English, but I want to basically make my statement like this is all I have, and this is the evidence, and I leave it up to the court, like, nowhere he can show us that we had done $1 million business, nowhere. And if at all he does it, I'll do anything for them, sir. Anything, I'll go out of way to help BOE, Board of Equalization, sir. But in 2017, I had 537,000. So the best months, the best years were 2016 and 2017. That's the time I was supplying to Levi Stadium, sir. And also I've attached that. So in 1 year, we supplied 65,000 worth of dollars, and the other year we supplied 75,000. And I don't have to pay taxes on that because it's a resellers. Levi Stadium sells there. So we don't have to. So I think I have some documents to show you, and also I have attached it. So believe it or not, we did not even charge them a penny. The big thing is, I want to show you something. So, yeah.
So while you're looking for that, I just wanted to interject. You've mentioned a couple of times that we could verify things like loans to friends or whatnot. Well, we don't have the ability to do independent research. Any argument you want to make is fine, but evidence needs to be submitted or needed to have been submitted to us. So, I understand that, your relationship with the department versus our relationship is different. I just need you to understand that when we write our opinion and whatever decision we make, we base it off of the evidence in the record. So evidence can be testimony, and it can also be documents that show proof of that certain transactions happened or didn't happen, right? So those are the things that we're going to be relying upon to form our opinion, but we're not going to be reaching out to businesses or individuals for additional information. Is that clear?
Okay, sorry, sir. I was under the impression that you can always cross-check whatever I say. That's what I was thinking about it, sir. So
No problem.
This was a Levi Stadium thing, sir. We didn't even charge them taxes, and we don't charge them any taxes, sir. Like, believe me. So the thing, I can send this on your way. That's not a problem. But like we did that, but I sent that 1099 thing, like saying that, hey, I did this so much for them. I also gave them a contract copy which I had between me and them. So this was a clear evidence. And that amount, I don't have to charge a taxes for that amount. They will charge. That's what my understanding too, sir. And I did not charge them a tax, so I don't have to pay them. So that amount may feature in my POS Clover system. So this is a true story, sir. And I have lots of evidence where I have taken.
If I could interrupt you one moment. The Levi Stadium document that you referenced and put up on the screen, is that also in the evidence? Is that in the exhibit packet that you sent to us?
Yeah, in 1088. Yeah, I have that. Yes.
You have that, but do we have that?
I think I send it to you guys. Let me check it. On proof evidence. So I don't see which. I think I sent it to you guys. Proof of overpaid taxes. So I have sent you guys like a Groupon, Uber, Easy Cater, Beyond Menu, but I did not send you the Levi Stadium thing. So I thought that was a totally different entity, but I did not send it to you, sir. But I do have a proof where they send us a 1099 statement, and I have for both the years I had, sir. And I can send it your way, like here.
Okay, so I mean, what are you asking for us to do? Do you want to submit those documents?
I thought
I've given you a couple of deadlines to submit evidence, and and you have submitted some evidence, but are you saying that you inadvertently excluded the Levi Stadium?
Sir, I thought I had already sent a 1099, something like this, in the statement. So I thought it's already there, but this is for Wells Fargo. This is for my Clover thing. I had that here, sir. Here, but I have that. I have it here. But I have it, sir. I can send it your way. There's so many documents. I got me confused and perplexed here. So yeah, I do have, sir. Yeah, I got it. So this is the volume I had. I listed it. So this was for 75,000. This is a 75,000 thing. They have it here, if you can see it. So all these documents I have, so from Easy Cater I have, from Fooda I have, from Beyond Menu I have, from Uber I have. So all these things here in Groupon we have. So here we don't have to basically pay taxes to Levi Stadium, sir. So I did not charge them, but it's in my Clover. If Board of Equalization has all the records, you can see that amount in my Clover, because every transaction I have generally entered in the Clover system, sir.
So before you continue putting the documents back up on the screen, I just wanted to remind you that we are broadcasting live.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you may not want to share some of that information, as it may have. Well, it's your information, but I just need you to be aware that you might not want that shared. The important thing for us is, do we have the things that you think we need to make our determination? And if we don't, are you asking for us to do anything? Are you asking for us to receive additional information, or is what we have enough?
I would like to send an additional information, sir, because I thought that if I submit something, court will, this is my first case like this, the court will basically go back to those people and recheck it, whether I'm telling the truth or not. That's why I was thinking, and whatever documents I had it, that in September, I sent it through your way. But this, what do you call, the Levi Stadium thing, I did not send it. I forgot that. It's my mistake, sir. I sincerely apologize for that. But I do have a proof to show you that we had supplied for Levi Stadium, sir.
So let me put your thoughts on hold for a moment. So department, would you have an objection to allowing Mr. Polani to submit documents pertaining to the Levi Stadium sales?
I don't think we'd have a specific objection to him submitting further documentation, only to note that we would need evidence that this was entered into the Clover system. They would need to be from the audit period. The brief one that he flashed on the screen was from 2007, outside of the audit period. And we would need documentation that these were actually sales for resale, as in they were being sold and then resold by Levi Stadium, as opposed to being sold by appellant at the stadium.
Okay, so Mr. Polani, just so you understand, I'm gonna, even though I had previously given you 2 different deadlines to submit evidence, I'm gonna, extend the favor to you to allow you to submit additional evidence.
Thank you,
But
sir. Thank you.
the scope is going to be narrow, right? So the scope is going to be limited to those sales that you're saying were resold by Levi Stadium, and it's going to be limited to those to the audit
Judge
period.
Aldridge, can you hold on for a second?
Yeah.
I need, we need to pause for just a second. I'll be right back.
Just
Okay. I was supposed to be by myself and I already. Thank you. Sorry about that. Someone entered the room that I was not aware of. We can continue.
okay. Thank you. Mr. Polani, regarding those Levi Stadium sales, you understand that it's limited in scope, it's limited in time, so just the audit period, right? And how long do you think you need to submit those that evidence?
So today is Tuesday, correct? So by Wednesday evening, I can submit it, sir. But Thursday morning, it will be in your office, sir.
So by tomorrow morning, when you need Thursday?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a week
Okay.
because, but just so long as you understand that interest does continue to accrue, should we find that you are liable for the outstanding amount. The record will remain open until February 2nd to give you an opportunity to submit that evidence. I'm going to give CDTFA an opportunity to respond to that evidence. They'll also have a week to respond. So the second is your deadline. CDTFA's deadline is the 9th. So the case will officially close by the close of business on February 9th. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
All right. Just kind of to backtrack, I wanted to make sure you got to say everything that you wanted to say within the constraints of our time. But so if you'd like to take this moment to finish up your rebuttal, please do so.
So as you asked me about the loan documents, I have loan documents too. I'll send it to. As I said, sir, we have taken a loan on this house, full the equity to basically fulfill all the other expenses and lawsuits to solve this. I have it, sir. I have other things which lawsuits I have. I'll send it all the way. I think I've already sent it enough on that, but I can send you more, like, you know. So whatever the extras I have, which I did not, I'll basically cross check tonight, you know, like, because my daughter, she's got a COVID, so unfortunately I'm not able to access the computer in live, so I'm not good at computer, but I can definitely tonight or tomorrow morning I can see what documents I'll send, what documents I have to send, and I'll send it to you ASAP, sir. I promise you that.
So that sounds like you're asking to send something other than the Levi documents.
I believe you wanted to see the loan document, correct? You said that
no, let's just keep it focused to the Levi Stadium sales and then the corresponding Clover documents, okay?
Okay, fine, sir. Okay.
So we have your evidence in an argument in the record. Is there anything else you want to tell us before I submit this case for decision?
Sir, as far as I know, sir, I have not cheated or betrayed anyone. Probably, maybe it's a clerical error from my side. I'm not good at maths, or maybe I did not follow the deadline. But to the best of my knowledge, as I already sworn in, I have never lied in my life. At the same time, sir, like, you know, whatever I've done, honestly, I have served people food. Honestly, I've charged them. Honestly, I have paid my taxes, sir. I have never, ever, even a penny where I basically did it. Like, I had known so many other restaurant owners who did that, but I was sincere. My wife was sincere. Both the kids are raised sincerely, sir. You can see them probably when we have one-to-one in future. But to my best of my knowledge, I have done justice to myself, you know, because as I had mentioned already in my document, saying that you can lie anybody on this earth. You can lie your parents, brother, sister, but you cannot lie your own conscience, sir. I don't want to lie my conscience, and I have never done anything wrong, sir. These couple of documents, you need it, I'll send it on your way, and I leave every decision to you, sir. I know you'll always take a fair decision, and I will get a fair trial. I would like to thank you for that, sir. And thank you so much for giving me one more extra week to make this happen, sir. And I thank the BOE as well as both Parker as well as Noble and Silva. Thank you so much for at least listening to my grievances and my stories, sir. But in no way in my wildest dream I'll ever think of frauding or cheating the tax people or tax things. We have never done in our life. We won't do it. We never teach our kids to say. We always teach the right thing to do it, sir. So this, and I want to basically say thank you once again, sir.
Well, thank you both for your time and for being flexible with the hearing format. I believe we're ready to submit the case. The record is now closed. Well, it's being held open until the 9th of February. Excuse me. The judges will meet and decide the case based on the evidence and the arguments presented today. And we will send both parties a written decision no later than 100 days from the 9th. The hearing calendar is now finished for the day. We will resume with hearings tomorrow at approximately 10 a.m. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. So I should be available tomorrow morning, correct? 10 o'clock?
So to clarify, you would send that evidence, whatever it may be, to the evidence box, the one that you've been using, and you have until the 2nd, February 2nd, close of business.
Okay, but you said I have to be there at 10 o'clock, you said a few minutes
You
before.
don't have to be anywhere. We just need you to email those documents to the evidence box.
Sure, sir, I'll do that.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Sir,
all right.
Mr. Polani, I hope your daughter recovers quickly.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks a lot. Good night, sir. Good night to you all.